Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing the stair video. As you can see, the walls are painted and light fixtures are in and stuff. So it's been about 6 months since we started the stairs, and the railing has really just been what put us way behind and what killed us. A couple things though real quick. I just want to note that if you look outside, we got about 2 feet of snow. But there's one spot right there, as you can see, where all the snow is just melting off the roof. And everywhere else, we have piles of 2 feet of snow. So that spot right there is directly above a light. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take that can light out. I'm going to stuff a bunch more insulation up there, and that should hopefully fix our issue. Because that's what I think our issue is, just there's no insulation above that light. So the other thing is we got our last painting project done. Well, one of them, we have to do the shiplap, but the upstairs bathroom is now painted. As you can see, this is all the spot where we're gonna have our tile in our shower, but everywhere else is this blue-gray. And we got all of our outlets and light switches in. Fans in. We just need to do our 2 can lights. So for our spiral staircase, we ended up ordering a kit online. We actually ordered it through Home Depot. It's a spiral staircase kit. It is a 60-inch wide, or total 60-inch diameter kit. And that's because code requires at least 60-inch diameter for a spiral staircase to count as an easement route. So we needed that. But to start out with this kit, we started out lightly sanding all of the stair treads, and then we went through and used a polyurethane sealant on it to seal them and finish them. We did about 3 or 4 coats of this polyurethane total. I really liked how it turned out because it kept the natural wood look, didn't darken up too much, and then it's a pretty durable finish as well. So off camera yesterday, because I forgot the memory card, I bolted the base of the staircase to the floor, and then I found the center. That's what these chalk lines are. So this is centered in our stair opening. I figured out what the height of every step is. It's 18 and 11/16, because that's an even number. So we're gonna kind of, the spacers are an 1/8 inch each, so we kind of have to adjust per step, and we'll figure that out. So we've got the first set of spacers on. I'm accounting for 1/2 inch of our flooring, and then yeah, I think we're good to go.
All right, let's do it.
So we take the stairs and push on this right here. Let it go on. Perfect. So they have these little spacers, and these keep our sleeve, which is this guy, centered on the pole. So you set this down and it slides over the pole, and it keeps the sleeve centered. So we are going to have to add a spacer. And that should, yep, turn and then sit. That all sits good, so we'll put this back on. There. Let's start it on both ends, and then this coupler has no nut in it, so we use these first. I think we just thread it down until it... So the general order that you kind of put this together is you start by screwing the floor flange into the floor. We put it over an I-joist. If you watch our floor framing video, we have an extra I-joist directly under the stairs. So we screwed that in, then you screw on the first pipe, and then from there, you calculate your stair spacing. You add those sleeves and the spacers to make the stair heights correct. And then you just keep adding sleeves, spacers, and stair treads, sleeve spacers, stair treads, until you get to the end of that first pipe. Once you're at the end of that first pipe, you screw in the second section of pipe, and then you keep doing that until you get up to the top where the platform is. That was easy.
I got a step.
So this little threaded adapter that you can see me putting in here actually has a nut welded in the center of it. And that nut is for a piece of all thread that I'll put in a second. What this piece of all thread does is it allows you to compress the staircase once it's all together. Once we have the platform secured, we put a cap on that piece of all thread that keeps the platform centered in the staircase, and then we put a nut over that and compress that nut to a certain foot-pounds of torque. And then once that's compressed, it compresses all the staircases or all the steps all the way down, so that way when you step on them, all the steps are secure. It stopped. I don't know if that's good. So my camera actually ran out of batteries as we were securing this platform, but what we did is we screwed brackets into the bottom side of the platform, and then those brackets just lagged into our beam that we have right there. Because our opening is made up of that beam, we had something secure behind the drywall to lag bolt it into, and it's just floating there with a couple of brackets. The next step after getting all of the stairs compressed, or the whole staircase compressed, was to put in the balusters. So these are the metal vertical supports that are going to support our handrail. So these go through 2 steps each, and you actually secure them to both step, and that kind of helps make the outside of the step more stable, because each one is braced off the one above it, and that one eventually braces to the platform, and the bottom one braces to the floor. So we just wiggled them down and then basically screwed them in with a couple of self-tapping screws.
No, you made the decision.
Okay, what do you think?
I don't think it needs to be
Screwed in?
Yeah.
Because we had that issue where our opening for our stairs was slightly smaller than it should have been, we had to cut a couple of these posts and put them in from the bottom. So like this one here would extend up through where our window is. And so it literally just ends up at the top of the drywall in the window. And then there's one more that ends in our overhang. So you can see that big metal black almost washer looking thing that I'm trying to pound this post onto. That is the cap that the bolt goes on, or the nut goes on, to compress the staircase. So that's that. The camera also wasn't working, or I just didn't have it. I can't remember when I did that. But this was the first, or second, I should say, real issue we ran into when putting this together, is the tolerances for this post slipping over that cap were off. So it didn't slip over very well, and it was really hard to get on. And then we got it stuck, so we have about a 1/2 inch gap at the bottom where you can see the metal underneath it. But we're going to end up painting that black, and it is what it is. So when we originally ordered the staircase kit, they had a couple different options. One where the railing was supported by 3 or 4 different vertical posts per step, and then another one where they had these black vertical posts, and then in between them was a horizontal of what I thought at the time was a horizontal cable. But that ended up being a solid piece of stainless steel, not an actual cable. So I thought it was going to be a little easier to put on than it was, but we still got it done. It was just a little harder to work with the solid cable, or the solid wire. And then with the kit, they had sent an aluminum handrail that was coiled up, and you're supposed to basically form it to the shape of your stairs by making the coil wider to the 60 inches and then by making it into the spiral or the corkscrew shape that you would actually need for the stairs, for it to go up the stairs. But that was terrible to work with. We spent probably 3 or 4 hours trying to get that correct over the last 6 months, and we just couldn't do it. So I called the company and they said just buy a piece of black poly pipe and use that instead. So that's what we did, and that worked out so much better. So I'd kind of suggest and just put a warning out there that you have to be really careful and really, really detail oriented, and it's going to be a struggle to get that aluminum handrail to work properly, and this poly pipe worked perfect the first time. We're just going to paint it black to match the staircase so it doesn't look like plastic. Did it work?
No.
Okay, so real quick, I want to talk about our stairs and kind of go over the experience we had with it. I think overall, all the issues we ran into with the staircase besides one were our own fault. So code requires a 5-foot wide or 60-inch staircase for a spiral staircase to meet code of egress and such. So naturally, we made our opening for the staircase 60 inches. Probably should have made the opening about 6 inches bigger at 66 inches or even 72 inches to give us more space. The staircase kit tells you to make it about an inch or two bigger than 60 inches, which I think you need a little more than that. I think you probably need 3 inches on each side at least. But the actual tread part where you walk in between the railing and actually going out to about here is 60 inches. Past this railing, there's an extra 1.5 inches pretty much on each side that extends past that. So we ran into issues with it being a little bit too big, and that mainly caused us issues with our railings. We were able to position the stairs so that it went into the window a little bit and into our little overhang a little bit, which was fine. So we didn't have to cut any of the stair treads, but we had to mess with the railings a little bit, which really caused some issues. If we had that extra 6 inches, we would have had no issues with the railing whatsoever. So make your stair opening bigger than you think you need it. The second thing is not our fault. It's actually their fault. It is the railing itself, not these railings. These weren't too bad, but this top railing, they send you an aluminum coiled railing. So it's just coiled about 3 feet or 4 feet, and it's aluminum, and you're supposed to shape it. And that was absolutely terrible to work with. We actually ended up not doing that at all. And what I did is I called the company because they have PVC railings that they sell. And the guy told me just go down to any hardware store, your local hardware store, and buy a poly pipe. He said, we're just going to ship you black poly pipe, so just buy one, it's going to be cheaper. So that's what we did. We went down and we bought 1.5 inch black poly waterline. We're going to cap it later. We haven't gotten that cap on yet, but this was a lot easier to put in. It's going to feel like plastic when you touch it, but we are going to sand it with a really, really fine sandpaper and then paint it black so it's not just the black plastic and actually has some black paint on it, and that should help its looks a little bit. Overall, otherwise, the stair treads are really nice. Other than our railing issues that were caused by us and then the one aluminum railing issue, there weren't any issues putting the staircase in. It all went in pretty, except for the part I touched on earlier in the video where they forgot to send us the cap that compresses all the stairs. That was a mess. Oh yeah, one more issue was one of the side railings for the platform up top. We couldn't get the pipe over like the piece that it's supposed to fit over, so now we have like a inch gap up there. We're going to paint it black, but those tolerances just weren't very good, and if I had kind of stopped sooner and taken it off, I could have grinded out the inside of either of them and it would have been fine, but we got it to the point where it is stuck there and it's not going anywhere. So Just take your time. There are a couple tolerance issues there, but otherwise that was it. Tolerance issues we caused, the aluminum railing was terrible, and then make your opening big enough. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any questions you have down in the comments below. I'll leave a link to the staircase that we particularly got down there as well. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Somebody come get her, use it like a stripper. Strip the fuck out of that screw. Because as you can kind of see in some of the videos, hi Raisin, do you want to keep going, babe? No, you just want to stop? Because as you can see, our railing, so, okay, bye Raisin.